Mouthwashing is a game that for this past month now has been absolutely blowing up. There has been a lot of themes and messages in the story itself. I've been going through like a delve of just so many different videos I've seen and people talking about it and seeing so many different people play it and seeing their interpretations of a lot of the events that happened in the game, because I feel like there was a lot of questions that a lot of people were still having with the game and certain themes. So I put together a couple of main themes that I kind of wanted to delve into for me personally. So I feel like the main theme that obviously has been being hit over your head throughout the entirety of the game is take responsibility. Take responsibility is for Curly and Jimmy, because Curly, the captain of the ship, he did nothing at every turn, and some people state him as a gray character. A quote I saw that I feel like kind of resonated with the theme of Curly and kind of being this character who takes inaction goes like this. Throughout history, it has been the inaction of those who could have acted, the indifference of those who should have known better, the silence of the voice of justice when it mattered most. That has made it possible for evil to triumph. Trigger warning for, anything. If you've seen the themes of the game, you kind of know what I'm gonna say. Jimmy SA'd Anya and got her pregnant. And before the crash, it could be assumed that Jimmy was looking for the gun that Anya hid and possibly kill everyone on the ship before deciding to just crash it before being confronted by Curly. Curly was the one who gave him this opportunity to even be co-captain in the first place, hoping to change Jimmy's life around, but when met with the cruel reality that he just didn't, he decides to just be idle and prolong even having that conversation with him in the first place, until it was forced upon him when he realized that Anya already told him everything. If Anya didn't say anything to Jimmy, Curly most likely would have just kept prolonging it just over and over again until, I guess, signs of pregnancy would have showed. Jimmy, on the other hand, he kept putting Anya down at every opportunity. He obviously doesn't see her as a person. Even when Anya does end up ODing on painkillers, he doesn't even have a thing to say to her. In the employees card sequence, you can't even see Anya's face on the cards because it's hidden. Just more facts of just him not recognizing her as a person. And if anything, before he crashed the ship, he saw her more as a problem than anything. Before Anya did OD, she said, "You were right. I should have done this from the beginning." Which you could take that as a hint of what their conversation was when Anya did end up telling Jimmy that she was pregnant. But I feel like the main thing of the whole theme of take responsibility is that at every point, no responsibility was taken at all. From Jimmy manipulating Daisuke into going into a dangerous vent and drastically hurting him, to actively pouring mouthwash with sugar in it that made his situation worse and ended up causing him to die, to never even admitting to the crew that he was the cause of the crash, or even acknowledging the fact that he hurt Anya. And even up until the end, he put Curly into the pod, fed him his own leg so he couldn't be hungry, and froze him with the hope of him getting saved. And then Jimmy actively just shooting himself. No responsibility at all. Curly can't speak or do anything, so you can probably say that Curly won't be able to tell anyone of the events that happened on the ship if he were to get saved. So Jimmy's wish of wanting everything to be a tragedy and no one really knowing what happened or the SA and the pregnancy behind it all will most likely come to be true, and that sucks. Curly's condition can literally be summed up of his entire role as a captain and how he prolonged worrying about Anya's safety because he didn't want to have that awkward conversation with someone who is considered his friend. He decided not to intervene at multiple times when Anya confided in him, and by him prolonging having that conversation, he ended up being basically responsible for the crash in itself. And now with him in his condition where he can't speak, all his limbs are gone, he's now basically being treated as an object by everyone in the crew, kind of like how Jimmy sees Anya. Since Curly is not able to speak or say anything about the events that happened that led to the crash, Jimmy is just able to blame the crash on Curly Curly, knowing he can't say anything, and even stripping away his rank as captain. Now, I feel like the mouthwash theme can be kind of seen as two different things that I saw, but I want to say that the one that I like is that, you know, mouthwash 99% clean factor or whatever, it has the one element of sugar which completely negates the whole reasoning of having the mouthwash. What I've seen some people say is that the more you use it, you think is good for you, the worse it's going to end up becoming. But the theme that I'm getting out of mouthwash is that the one bad ingredient completely ruins the entirety of the base of mouthwash itself. And that one ingredient can also be Jimmy, as his position as the co-captain of the crew, and his power dynamics and just how much of a shitty person he is influences the rest of the crew and ruins it, causing the deaths of every single person in the crew and causing Curly's disfigurement. Now, I really wanted to talk about the ladder sequence, the sequence where you're running around and you're seeing all the ladders being broken up in this vast area. I would like to think of it as, you know, the conversation that Jimmy and Curly had about Curly's at the top of his ladder. He wants to try something new. This nightmare sequence could show Jimmy basically destroying everyone's ladder or their future that they would have had if they had gone back to Earth. The whole thing was that they were all going to be let off once the delivery was complete. I would like to say that everyone would have had a decent life after the shipment was completed if they were all laid off, mainly Daisuke and Swansea and Curly. But you could say for Jimmy essaying Anya and getting her pregnant, he would most likely be in jail. His life would be ruined. I'm not quite sure how, I don't know what Anya would have done in that situation, as by the time it would have took for the shipment to complete, she would have already been in the phase of giving birth. But not even trying to think about that outcome, I just mainly want to talk about how Jimmy actively destroyed everyone's ladder. He destroyed everyone's hopes at a future in a life outside of the job. Or you could also see it as Jimmy's own ladder just being destroyed because of what he put Anya through and how fucked his life is going to be when he went back to Earth. The last main theme I kind of wanted to talk about is just the dead pixel conversation that Curly had with Anya. You know, the whole thing of just one wrong thing ruins the whole image, shows the drastic differences between Anya and Curly. Curly, someone who likes to look at the bigger picture while ignoring the one flaw that takes away the whole immersion of the image, that everything is fine or peaceful and perfect, which ended up leading to his downfall. And then you have Anya, who no matter what can see the issue in the back of her head, and no matter how hard she's trying to move forward, as she stated that she tried to not let our worst moments define us, but at the point of her taking the painkillers, she just can't. And it could also mean the symbolism of how she sees the dead pixel, she has it in the back of her head, but no matter what, she just can't not think of that dead pixel. But I hope that made sense. I kind of went through a lot of big things that I kind of wanted to just elaborate on with the themes of mouthwashing. I would like to know what you guys think of other themes that happened in the game as well. But that's it for me. I really appreciate everyone who decided to watch this video. It really means a lot. We are at 443 subscribers. Oh my god. Is a lot. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I posted a poll earlier today to kind of just see how you guys would feel if I were to make a mouthwashing video like a month after, and I appreciate the people voting in the poll. Please let me know what other topics, games, or themes you guys would also want me to talk about. I really appreciate everyone watching. If you like this video, please give it a like. Hopefully I'll see you all in another video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.